Hi guys, welcome to another video. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how to reach at least diamond rank or maybe even legendary. Currently, for disclosure, I've been in legendary rank for the past 3 weeks, so I've managed to stay in legendary rank. But then again, for this particular week, right, they've actually implemented more rigorous sort of like demotion criteria. So the bottom 50% of legendary actually gets demoted. So if you see bottom 50%, how you know that which rank will get you demoted? You pay attention to the rewards on right hand side. So once you actually fall, you like go to a certain level, right? Like 137 that doesn't have any WND rewards. I think from here onwards, I think this is demotion if I am not wrong. Because I think in the whole legendary rank, there's only like 300-ish. Let's try and scroll to the... Oh, there's actually more than that. Yeah, 300. So if it's... Let's scroll to the bottom. 304. So that means half of it from 150 position down, I think will get demoted if I'm not wrong. So the ones that color in red, I don't think they're accurate. So I think it's 50% of anything that's in legendary and below will get demoted back into diamond. So this guy is actually meant for, like, I mean, you could get to legendary maybe, but might not be able to stay in it. But you can at least, I'm quite confident that my team can stay in diamond. So how to get a diamond? First and foremost is, let's look at our hero stats. So for hero stats wise, you're looking at this kind of stat range. Forget my link because I'm no longer using link in my PvP. So for example, Helen is actually my highest damage dealing DPS hero, range DPS hero, and these are the attack ranges you should be looking at. So attack range anywhere from about 800-ish, 800 to 1000 plus on the attack rating. Hit points range. Hit points is the other very important factor. Anywhere above, I would say above 4000, because like even I have my 2 melee DPSs at 5300, but for my range DPSs, my Celeste is also this is my Cersei, right? My Cersei is also close to 5000 hit points. And even the weakest of my heroes in the hit point range is Helen. The range DPS is also at 4000 hit points. So I would say hit point at least 4000 and above. I mean, barely to make it into diamond, I think at least 3005 and above. And attack at least 800 and above. Defense and resist ratings are not that important in my opinion. Like even for my Xion, right? Her defense rating is the lowest out of the 4, which is at 135. Resist rating is only 254. And obviously I have higher physical defense on my Helen as well as on my Cersei. And this is, I mean, my Sarah actually has 193 physical defense, but it's a bit deceptive because I have an item which actually boosts her physical resistance. Yep. So her physical defense actually has 50. She has 51% physical defense because she actually has boost from her skin. This is her helmet piece, boost 25%, and I believe her skin actually boosts another 25%. So that's why she has actually 51% physical defense. So that's pretty deceptive. So even though it's 193, so it's actually buffed by another 51% in the game itself. I'm not super sure how the percentage works. I think it's 51% physical defense. If I'm not wrong, is that if the opponent deals 1000 damage, physical damage to you, then you should be reduced to like 500, if I'm not wrong. So I think percentage physical defense should be quite strong. But I'm not 100% sure on that. So if anyone knows in the comments, then they can actually like put physical defense percentage or elemental defense percentage better. They can post it in the comments, and I'll probably make a follow-up video on it. So these are the attack ranges, and I mean, of course, for PvP, right? The hit point range will have a multiplier of 2.8 times. So since we have like 5360, so let's take a calculator. So 5360, if you go into PvP, you multiply this hit points by 2.8. So I should have about 15k hit points. Actually, I think I have more if I'm not wrong. Okay, let's join a PvP match, right? Let's join a PvP match or we comment. Let's see. You can see your hit points obviously on the bottom of the screen, even though it's an auto battler. So let's see when my heroes get selected. Okay, so the opponent has about 12k. Take note that this is legendary. Okay, so my Cersei has 24, Sarah has 24k. 24k, so it's actually more than 2.8. 24,000 divided by, I think about 5,300. 4.52 actually. The multiplier actually went up. My Shion has 26k. Shion has 26. Helen also has 18. I remember my Helen having like 4k hit points, right? So it's about 18 divided by 4,000, right? Yeah, it's actually 4.5. So I think the hit points multiplier has actually gone up. Because I remember in the past, the hit point multiplier is I think 2.8. Was it 2.8? Or was 2.8 the hit point for mobs? Yeah, I think 2.8 was the hit point for mobs. I'm not super sure. I think it used to be 2.8 in PvP, and I think they have actually like shadow buffed it in a patch or something, but they didn't announce it. So now in PvP, you actually get 4.5 times your hit point value from your normal, the so-called the statistics, the stats page into the actual PvP game. So this is how you will calculate your actual PvP hit points, right? Whatever you have in the stats page, then you multiply it by 4.5 times, you will get that actual hit point value in the PvP itself. So obviously Fran is very tanky because of a shield here, but she's still gonna die because it's 1v4 right now. So I'm still gonna win this match. Okay, and she gets even more survivability because Fran casts her ultimate. She kills my Helen, then she teleports to a corner, but she's really low. She gets rooted, okay, by my Cersei's passive. And okay, so we win that. Okay, so going back to the where is it? The hero stats. So on the bottom hero, go into stats. So 5360 multiplied by 4.5. Yeah. So my Sarah will get actually 24,120 hit points in the game itself. So whatever hit points you have here, you multiply by 4.5, you will have it. That will be your actual hit point value in PvP itself. So these are the basic stats you should be building up towards. As to how to get there, so this second part of video, I won't say really explain, but how I basically got there is you do need to have several skins and equipments and weapons to help you get there. First and foremost is, I mean, if you are able to get some 5-star weapons, it is actually good. But for some heroes, actually, their 4-star weapons are quite adequate. Like, for example, for Helen, obviously, her 4-star Quote Manticore is really good. Some I've discovered that some of the 5-star weapons are actually not bad as well, but the Quote Manticore is good because it does a wide AoE, and because of the wide AoE damage that you see here, it attacks 9 squares in the area in front of her, and you can catch a lot of enemies in PvP. So you're looking for things with high attack. Obviously, if you're buying a weapon that's level 1, then you will have to spend a lot of D&D as well as Horn to upgrade it over time. And as well, the percentage that you do as well, this percentage damage is not reflected in your stats, but it's actually very important in the actual damage output. So I'll go into that later. So obviously you will need to get up to about 800 attack points in your hero stats here. Minimum of 800, you will need a high attack value in your weapon, as well as you will need an attack badge. So this is the third badge. So the attack badge, right? I just call it the attack badge, which is in the third slot. Typically, it boosts attack. So you need attack badges that at least have 2 to maybe even 3 attack stats, and maybe even give some percentage damage boost. And then obviously you're going to upgrade your attack badge as much as you can with the horn and WD that you have to get as much attack buff as possible. So other than that, your basic hero, I think when you level up your hero as well, if once your hero hits level 100, there'll be a base attack that your hero has even without her weapons as well as her equipment as well. So we can see that by unequipping this. So if I unequip her weapon and I unequip her badge, so we can see that, go into stats, you will see that Helen actually has, at level 100, she has a base attack of 466. So when you add on with my attack badge, which is this one, and I add on with my Manticore has 270 attack, then you go back into the hero stats, you see that it adds up to above 1,000, right? 1068. So yeah, so the base damage of a hero plus the weapon damage attack plus the attack badge. So you can see that this is a triple stat attack badge, right? Will actually help you to reach above 800. So you will need these weapons as well as these equipments to help you get there. And then the next one is for the hit points itself. So for the hit points, the most important thing is actually the skin. You're looking for skins which have at least like 1,000 hit points and above. So this Hellguard skin that I managed to buy for my Shion is kind of exceptional. It has double hit point stats, and both of the hit point stats are actually pretty high. So when even at upgraded at level 6, right, I have more than plus 2,400. This is almost 2,500 additional hit points just at plus 6. If I upgrade this further, the hit point values are just going to get higher and higher. And then other than that, you're also going to need equipment pieces in your first and second slot that add hit points as well. So the first slot is usually the hit piece. So the hit piece, equipment piece, needs to have a single or preferably double hit point stats. Or you could also have things that adds defense as well, right? Like this piece adds physical defense and also has hit point or armor. Then the bodysuit piece, which is the middle piece, you also need equipment pieces that also adds hit points as well. At least a single stat in hit points, but preferably if you have 2 stats in hit points, that will be better. But this is actually not too bad. At plus 6, I already have like 960 additional hit points in just a single hit point stat, right? But this one gives me some percentage cyborg defense, so I think this piece is not bad. So I think this video's deity is not that good. The other body pieces are slightly better because they will give hit points or armor. Like this is the best that I have. The other bodysuit pieces I have are not that good because like this video's deity is actually not that great because it doesn't add additional hit points. But what it does is that if it actually provides heal once my hero hit points is below 75%. So I actually kept this piece on my hero because of the healing effect. So to get above like 4,000 hit points in the hero stats, what you need is actually a good skin. So a good skin that gives at least plus 1,000 hit points on the hit point stats. And then you need the hit piece that gives additional hit points, like this hit piece gives additional 1,000 here. And you will need like a bodysuit, the middle piece, that also gives either additional hit points or additional armor. So the thing is that I think this armor stat, the amount of armor that is provided, is not reflected in your stats here, but it also helps to boost additional hit points for your hero as well. So you can see that I don't have. I think it's for, is it this? No. This video CT. So for this hit piece here, yep, correct. So the hit piece for my Sarah actually has additional armor, 646 additional armor. So on top of the hit points that she already has, which is like 5360, right? She actually still gets another 646 points in armor. So all this is going to help her survivability. So these are the basic stats that you need to get there. Obviously, then we're going to talk about a bit of optimization of stats, right? So obviously for your frontline tanks, frontline DPS, right? I call them tanks because they take most of the damage, right? Because they rush to the front. Your melee attackers. So if you don't have melee attackers that like a Fuma that with one of his ultimate weapons that go invisible after every turn, So they're going to take a lot of damage because they're going to be up in the face of the enemy heroes, right? So you want your melee heroes to actually get the bulk of the hit points. So this is why I allocate the highest hit point items such as the equipment pieces, as I try and find the best highest hit point skins for them as well. I have another skin here which is also not too bad but not as good as this, because this one gives percentage physical defense, right? So you want your melee DPS heroes to have the highest hit point stats, and you want to optimize your equipment pieces for that. And then for the highest attack stats, you want your range heroes, especially if you have another Helen here with a Code Manticore, or maybe you like even have other range heroes, maybe an Angela or some other max DPS hero, right? Maybe you have a friend that does a lot of damage, or maybe you have a Shion, right, that actually does a lot of damage with her I think it's a Onimaru. There's a Onimaru 5-star weapon that does a lot of weapon attack damage because I think it attacks twice. So you want to give that highest damage dealing DPS the highest attack badges. So your best highest attack badges you want to allocate to the highest damage dealing DPS. So those are the stat allocations. Other than that, one thing I want to touch on is like for the damage dealt, right? You want to look for things that do either double damage attack, or you have things that do a lot of high percentage damage based on the caster's attack. So my Code Manticore here is actually a pretty good example, because you look at her first skill, right? You look at her first wave of attack, what it does is 200. So this 200 damage is very little in terms of diamond and legendary. But the 170% of the caster's attack is actually quite significant, because she has 1000, right? So 170% is almost close to 2000 damage, almost close to 200%. So that's 1700 damage that she deals in the first wave. And then when Helen's charge is above 12, you deal an additional attack which deals 200 plus 255% of the caster's attack. So remember that she has 1000 base damage, so another 255% of that will actually be 2500 damage. So she does the first wave of her attack. Her first attack does 1700, but the second follow-up attack would do 2500 attack. So that means she attacks twice, and her second attack is actually much deals a lot more damage than the first attack. So you want to look for hero weapons that actually gives sort of like double damage or a very high percentage damage. So I think for my Murasame, it's actually not that great. Black and white is also not that great an attack damage weapon. Other weapons you want to look out for, I think it's the Fran's weapon, which will attack twice. And then for Shion, I think there's Onimaru, I think that attacks twice as well. If you're looking at another melee DPS, I believe is Julia. Julia would have her Torn, something like Torn Soul or Iron Torn or something, that also does attacks twice. So you want to look for weapons that have attack more than once, that do higher damage for your DPS heroes. Then other than that, you want to look for maybe some other weapons that will either do poison or burn damage. So I find that Cersei is actually very, very popular. Cersei with a like Holy Codex, a 4-star weapon, they're actually very, very popular in Legendary as well as Diamond as well. Mainly because she does this residual and accumulating burn damage. So her first attack will do 160% of the caster's attack. So in this case, my Cersei has about 930. Let's assume that it's 1000, right? So assume that she has 1000 attack. That means her first wave of damage does about 1600 elemental damage. But she also ignites the target. So she burns the target and deals another. So the target will take another 48%. Just round it up to 50% of the caster's attack damage at the end of the turn. But this damage will stack. So it stacks up to 5 times. It stacks every time they get attacked by one of your allies, and then we will also lose this stack when the enemy itself attacks. So in simple terms, what this does is that it does 160%. So let's say our Cersei deals 1000 damage, right? So the first attack from Cersei will do 1600 damage. Then she will burn the target. So the target gets 1 stack of burn, which deals 500 damage at the end of their turn, because it deals 50% of 1000, right? So that's 500 damage. But this can stack up once the enemy gets attacked. So let's say the enemy gets attacked 5 times by our allies, right? And she accumulates the maximum amount of stacks. So that's 5 times 50%, that's 250% of Cersei's base attack. So if Cersei's base attack is 1000, then you multiply by 250%, again there's another 2500 of burn damage at the end of the enemy's turn. And then this burn damage is in the AoE as well. So if this AoE of 9 square hits all the 4 enemy heroes, and all the 4 enemy heroes gets up to 5 stacks of burn, they are taking 2500 additional damage each at the end of their every turn. So that is a significant attack damage source as well, right? So this is why the Holy Codex is also very popular, and because of this like double damage kind of effect. So you want to look for weapons like this. So basically, I think that's about it. So video has gone quite a while. So basically is you need a certain level of stat level. So to summarize again, to reach like diamond and above, and maybe even reach legendary in WonderHero PvP, you need at least about 800 points in each of your heroes' attack. You need at least 4000 hit points in each of your heroes. And then I've already shown in the middle of the video how to get there, like what are the weapons, what are the kind of attack damage you want on your weapons, what are the kind of attack damage and hit point stats you want on your equipment pieces in order to get there. And you also want to look for weapons that have like double attack, kind of like they will attack twice or very high percentage of attack damage. So you want to look for those kind of weapons. Then for the final point I want to make is healers needed in diamond or legendary? Actually, no. So this is what I've noticed when I was climbing up the ranks. So I was climbing up the ranks from like black iron to silver to gold. I still notice a lot of people having healers in their team. But once I got to diamond, and then once I got to like top of diamond and into legendary, right, I noticed that most of the people in their teams, they no longer actually have a healer at all. So they no longer use a Ling, and they no longer use a Nightingale in their team. So there are some people, even with a Nightingale, I think Drini is mentioned that for his team as well. And Drini is also quite a top rank WonderHero player. He actually converted his Nightingale from a healer to a DPS hero by giving the Nightingale the poison weapon called, I think the 5-star weapon called Mandela, which actually lets Nightingale do damage and do poison damage to the enemies. So it actually has the same kind of role as my Cersei here. So it like kind of does damage over time to the enemy instead. So you will notice that as you get higher and higher in ranks like diamond and legendary, healers are actually no longer needed, because unless you are using Nightingale's Twin Lotus healing weapon, that is the only weapon that can heal in between what we call bleed effects, because bleed status is actually getting very common as well once you reach diamond as well as legendary. Most players will actually equip I think the Kiku Izumoji, the 4-star blade weapon on their Shion, or they will buy a Stamp of Time and put it on one of their melee heroes and then do bleed to your heroes. So since your heroes are gonna be bleeding anyway, they can't be healed. So healing is pretty much a non-factor in these higher ranks. All right, thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys next time.